Welcome to day 13 of the Living with Purpose Challenge. My name is Shawanda, and I'm here to help you to live with purpose and on purpose. Listen, today we're going to talk about embracing your hobbies and interests. This is so important because we have already talked about what we're going to do with our time, right? And over the last couple of days, we've talked about time wasters. And we had to do this whole inventory of our time to figure out how much time we actually have. And initially we said, well, we don't have enough time to do anything. But then we figured out, well, we did some inventory and said, well, we probably have more time than we realized. And now that you have that time or realize that you actually have the time, let's see how we can spend it on things to help us to live in purpose and have a more meaningful and fulfilled life. Now, we should have some more hours to do this, right? Because we took away some mindless TV, we took away the social media, not fully taking it away, but we're being more mindful of how we're utilizing these things, right? So we've made some space or carved out some space in our days, our weeks, and our months so that we can intentionally embrace some hobbies and interests. And that's what I want to encourage you to do is embrace hobbies and interests. So it's probably been a while since you've done it. So we're going to help you kind of get back in touch with that. Do you remember, even as a child, some things that you loved to do? Remember, as children, we just had like days and hours just to like do nothing, right? We had like a whole day to play, a whole Saturday. Well, for the most part, because some of us grew up and we had to do chores and things like that on Saturday morning before we could ever go outside, right? But nonetheless, you had time to actually enjoy things. So think about some of those things that brought you joy. Something you could do without obligation. Now, I get it, as adults, you have all these obligations and you're trying to figure all that out. But if you just kind of get back in touch with that inner child and think about these things that you enjoy, hobbies or interests, whether it was maybe putting together a model car or painting or singing or dancing, gardening, whatever that was that you had an interest in, and maybe even didn't even have an opportunity to do as a child, but you can do that now because it was an interest. And it's never too late to pick up those interests and those hobbies. You just now realize that as an adult, you actually still have time to do it. We just thought that as adults, it just became too tough to sneak in those hobbies or those interests. But the reality is that we just allowed life to consume us and to overtake us. And we did not make time for the things that we love to help us stay in touch with who we are. So now we're going to find something new to try. Hobbies are important. They're an important part of living with purpose. It truly gives balance to our lives and allows us to spend some much needed time on something that we actually enjoy. Because remember, we talked about sometimes we're just working so much that we don't really have time to distress. And we need this time to distress and do things that are actually fun. Remember, way back in the beginning of this challenge, we talked about doing things that are fun, but a lot of us were like, fun, like what's fun? Now we need to get back in touch with that. So, like I said, you have an office job or you have a career or even as an entrepreneur, like that takes up a lot of your time as well. But we need to just get away and do something that's fun. So if you've been busy all day, running around all day, or even sitting in a cubicle all day, sometimes you don't always get to see the immediate fruits of your labor. You work really hard, but at the end of every single day, you don't always get to see the fruits of your labor. And you sometimes need that. You need to be able to balance that out. And so a hobby will kind of give you that. It will allow you to see the fruits of your labor, even periodically, right? So that's why you want to do something, whether it's, gardening or painting or dancing or, I don't know, putting cars together or, building cars or building model planes or whatever that looks like, woodworking, building houses, whatever that looks like to you, spend some time doing that. Whether it's an hour in the evening on your favorite hobby or spending time on the weekend so that you can actually see, feel, and touch the progress you have made, right? And here's some other benefits about, having those hobbies, right? It helps you unwind. It helps you to let go of all that stress and anxiety that's been built up over, your work days or your work weeks. And naturally, it's just good for your overall health and mental well-being. It gives you that wusa time to just chillax. Like, you just need time to chillax. You know, people that have relaxing hobbies like playing music or painting or gardening, things like that, they tend to sleep better and they feel more refreshed when they can like engage with other people, or because they've gotten more rest. So when they're getting up and they're interacting in their regular workday, man, they just feel like they're their best selves because they found time to have that balance in their life. They've zenned out for a little bit. So, and then when you have, hobbies, there are some hobbies that you can do with other people, or you can find like-minded individuals. And community is so important because remember we talked about lifting up our shield of faith to help us, fortify ourselves, against that fear. Well, sometimes, not being in isolation is really a key to help you to fortify yourself, because fear will overcome you when you are completely isolated. Now, I get it. Some people are introverts, and that makes sense. But sometimes you have to come out a little bit and at least find other like-minded people, because other introverts can be around other introverts and you don't even have to talk. You guys just like to do things that don't require a lot of interaction with each other. You just might sit around and listen to music, or you might sit around and play games with each other, but you don't have to be all in each other's space too much, which is a really good thing. So learn how to connect with other people the way that you need to and the way that it works for you, whether it's a class, a group, a club, or whatever that is. But there's all different types of things for you to do so that you're not completely isolated, and then you, again, connect with like-minded people. Groups. There's a group I even put together for women visionaries, because for women who are visionaries, and again, it's not all women, but women who are visionaries, meaning like they're big dreamers, right? So they have this goal of like, man, I want to have like multiple businesses, I'm trying to establish a legacy, or all these things. And some people don't really connect to that, when they try to talk to people about these huge dreams that they have, because it's an interest of theirs, everyone doesn't get it. So therefore, that's why I created a group designed for these type of women, that they can sit down and they can talk to other women who will understand and can relate and connect, and then they can go and build this community, and then actually do things once a quarter of getting together and finding other interests and hobbies to find that wusa time as well. So that's why those groups are so, so important. You build each other up, you support each other. Try a book club, discuss things about the books that you like to read. It might help you if you're an entrepreneur. You start meeting and networking with other people. The key is to embrace your hobbies and interests and make them a part of your everyday life, because this will help you to live more intentionally and be more fulfilled and have more peace and experience that goodness that God has said that we would have and experience day to day. And then as you experience that, you too can have an impact on the lives of others by sharing that with others. So remember, life is good. It's just time for you to experience the goodness of life. My name is Shawanda. I'm here to help you to live in purpose and on purpose. I can't wait to see you tomorrow, and I hope this has been a blessing to you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow so that you get the notifications to receive the messages day by day to help you to live with purpose